You want to have people talk about treatments that they've gotten, procedures that they've had, why you're the one. Because this is what makes you unique. It's very hard to be unique now. It's a struggle. What makes you unique is the patients who love you and are willing to say that.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Raving Patients podcast. As you know, I'm your host, Dr. Len Tao. As always, I want to thank our sponsors, both Dental and Tel and the Doc Sites, for their support, allowing me to come to you Friday mornings in your inbox with the latest episode. Today's episode is called Video is Breakthrough Marketing. We're going to be speaking to a very good friend of mine, Fred Joyal, person behind True Blue Social Smiles, a company that will help you get your video reviews out there into the masses. So I want to introduce Fred. Fred is the CEO of True Blue Social Smiles. He was the co-founder of 1-800-Dentists and its CEO for 25 years, during which the company generated over $1 billion in revenue. He's the author of 2 books, Everything is Marketing and Becoming Remarkable, which are considered the Bibles of dental marketing. And he has a 3rd book called Super Bold, sitting right behind him there. So he's got 3 books technically. But please welcome to the Raving Patients podcast, Fred Joyal.
Thanks, Leonard. It's very exciting to be here, as always. I'm expecting a lively conversation.
Well, I appreciate you finding the time to speak with me. We've spoken before. We did a podcast last year on your book, Super Bold, and I know you've done a lot with that. And now you're on to your next venture, which is called True Blue Social Smiles. So, before we go into the questions that I wanted to ask you or we wanted to discuss really on video, tell people, because obviously not many people know about it yet because it's a fairly new product. Tell people exactly what True Blue Social Smiles is.
Yeah, so we're the only company right now in dentistry that streamlines the process of getting the video testimonials from patients and then maximizing their use by making it easy to put them on your website, add and delete them on your website, have them in several places on your website, all that you control from within your own dashboard, and then have them to download for social media, for your YouTube channel, for your Google business profile, which is, by the way, a really important place that many practices are neglecting because it's tricky. And so we help you with that, with all of those steps. But the main thing is we're making it so you know where your videos are. You have a transcript of them. They're closed captioned already. All of that stuff is done. And it's just easier for you to do. You still have to ask patients to do the video, but now you're maximizing their marketing value, which is huge, as you know. And we're going to talk more about that, obviously, because that's the way things are going. And we're just trying to make it easier for practices to jump into this and really take full advantage of the marketing impact of a patient video.
I've been a huge fan of patient testimonials for years. I coined the term trustimonials, which I shared with you, because they really build trust with patients. So I'm a big believer in videos. I've always been. I talk about during all my sessions. Obviously, as you know, I've been in the review game now 13 years, and I've made a really good name for myself here. I think this is a really important way to be able to get the word out about your practice. So I just want to be very clear so people understand. Basically, what you're doing is you're sending a message to the patients, asking them, you're letting them know that you're going to send them something, asking them to record a video. You send them a link, they record the video, you capture it, and then the office is able to upload it to various places, their website, Google My Business, their profile, YouTube, all these other places. That's where you're able to promote the reviews that they've done for you now.
We also make it so that the patient can do a video right there in the office. They scan a QR code that's on display in the office, and it opens a web app where they can record the video, put their name and phone number in, and actually give a release, which is one of the other things that practices fall down on is because there's paperwork involved and all that stuff. They're basically, they agree to the terms and conditions, which gives you full use of the video in all media in perpetuity. So the best way really is to get the patient to do it right there in the office. That's we found the highest percentage rate. And the second best way is by sending a text to the patient, asking them to do it, and then clicking the link and it pops open in their phone. You know, you're working so hard and so effectively helping these practices get Google reviews. And I always remind people, this isn't going to replace that. This is now the 1-2 punch. You need way more Google reviews and a steady, fresh stream of them, 5-star, of course, along with a certain number of videos, way less. If you got 3 or 4 videos a week, that would be huge. You would have plenty for social media. You'd be able to refresh your content everywhere. And you're using this persuasive medium of a person taking the time. And again, very important to stress, this is a patient just taking a phone and talking about how they feel about the practice, what they appreciated about it, the difference the practice has made in their life. 30 or 40 seconds, unedited. That's the power of it, is it's authentic. It's real. It's not polished. That's a lot of the practices have these really polished videos. And we're all jaded now. We're all like, yeah, I know this was all staged. I'm not even sure that's a real patient and all of that stuff. But when somebody records that video, is willing to take the time to say why they appreciate the practice, and they're saying and ah, and you know, and things like that, that's real. And people go, I trust that. That's why your testimonial word is so accurate, because it's starting the trust with the relationship before they even meet anybody in the practice. Because they're watching 4 or 5 people who say, I would never go to anybody else. I'm so glad I found this dentist. She's changed my life. That's the power of that simple video.
I agree 100%. So in my seminars, I teach the power of video. I talk about how you need videos on your website. Video is the expectation now, especially with the advent of all the Twitters, the Instagrams and the TikTok. People are looking at videos. That's what they're looking at. I mean, I don't think people are going to go on Twitter, go on Instagram and TikTok and readily look for these. But to have them on your website and promote them, I think is super important. But when I teach it, I talk about taking a video on your iPhone, not using a camera that's set up in the office, making it raw, nothing polished where you're taking 25 different takes. One take, it's done. You don't have to have them redo it over and over again. It's the fact it's so raw and literally they're doing it. They could be walking out of the office or they can be sitting in their car after their appointment. It doesn't have to be fancy. This has tremendous effects in creating that most important thing that you need when a patient is looking to do business with you, and that's trust. And I talk about trust in my seminars because when they trust you, what do? They buy from you. They spend more money. They come back for more and they refer their friends and family. That's what this does for your practice. Huge benefits. I'm a huge fan of this concept. Now, I will be even more of a fan when Google, and we talked about this, when Google allows a patient to put a video review in their Google review spots. That to me is the end all be all, which hasn't happened quite yet. But as I told you, I was able to test it out accidentally and Google took that feature down away. But I think that's a major future of this product.
Yeah, and I think it's coming. But meanwhile, it's amazingly effective when you have them on your Google business profile, because a lot of people stop at the Google business profile. They get enough information because it's really information rich, and you can have photos and you can have video, and just, you know, like all of these things, there's a trick to it. Google will put any picture up in your profile, but it will reject the video unless it can identify it as something related to your website. So what we found is if you have the videos on your website and you put them in the same ones in your Google profile, it accepts them. A friend of mine, she does Botox for TMJ. So she put a video up on her Google profile talking about that patient, talking about how it just radically changed their life to get rid of the TMD. And, she got 3 patients in the next 2 weeks that all said, I saw it on your Google profile, saw the video on your Google profile. So don't think that when you want to have people talk about treatments that they've gotten, procedures that they've had, why you're the one. because this is what makes you unique. It's very hard to be unique now with everybody offering the same types of discount, and Aspen Dental spending, $100 million a year in advertising and things. It's a struggle. What makes you unique is the patients who love you and are willing to say that.
100% so, and I agree with that completely. So for those that are kind of not advanced in this topic, let's talk about the areas, or we mentioned a couple of them already. Let's talk about the areas where they should be putting these videos. So I guess we like to call it free media, social media, free media, whatever it is. So what sites are they able to post the reviews on so potential patients can see them?
Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok. These things don't cost anything to put them on. So what if nobody watches it? That, 3 years ago, I was telling people, don't waste your time on Instagram. Now I don't say that. I say you must be on Instagram. And so, and if you're an ortho practice, you need to be on Snapchat. I mean, it's like, it shifts. Why not lay the groundwork on TikTok now? So that's important because you never know where people are going to see you. The other really important place is, YouTube. Put the videos on YouTube. And it's not that people are, even though it's the second most searched website, it's not where people are necessarily going to look for a dentist, but they may be looking to research a procedure. But Google's looking at the videos. And if you put the proper description in each video, your name, your practice name, your location, your website, whatever treatment the patient's talking about, Google sees that. That gives you SEO, gives you big Google juice. And that's why you're doing it. So and it doesn't matter. And it's free. You can put 100 videos on YouTube that all relate to your website in your Google channel, YouTube channel. So those places. And then the other thing practices are doing, my clients keep coming up with new ways of utilizing this. And they said, oh, well, I had this patient that just raved about, she was using, Sure Smile, one of the clear aligner companies, and she just raved about it. So the patient just took the video and emailed it to her entire patient base. She had the software to do it. And she said, do you know anybody that would benefit from this treatment? Now, of course, that's indirectly saying like you, for example. But that's what, it's free. You can email your entire patient base with a powerful message about a specific treatment, implants, snoring, sleep apnea, TMD treatments, all of these things that you can do, all on 4 implants, single tooth implants done in a day, things like that you can tell your patient base. Now, of course, you can also use those videos in ads, and they're going to be way more persuasive than, I'll give you a free exam and cleaning. This is a patient saying, I should have done implants 10 years ago, but thank goodness I found this dentist because he's amazing. I trust him completely. And it's made, a radical difference in the quality of my life.
Well, that I've been a kind of a early adopter with marketing from the very beginning. I've always been ahead of the game. And I've been talking about videos now and the importance of them for a really long time. So back in 2013, I did 2 types of videos. They were both video blogs. Okay. One was, I was interviewed by David Schwab, who's a PhD. We did 26 questions that we did. And every two weeks, we released one of the videos. That's a video blog on YouTube. And then we also did another series of videos that were Q&As, and they recorded me talking to a model in the chair about various things. And I want to relay one I talk about is I did one on cracked tooth syndrome and what you do if you get a cracked tooth. And it just so happens that this woman had a cracked tooth and she was having pain. I looked, we recorded it, and we put it on YouTube. We filled it with cracked tooth syndrome in Philadelphia, all these different terms. And all of a sudden I started getting calls from all over the country about cracked teeth and emails. I'm like, what's going on here? That video, when you type in cracked tooth Philadelphia, came up in the #1 position on a Google search. Okay. And that video now has been viewed 27,000 times. Okay. So that is what you call major Google juice that costs me absolutely nothing. So I always say, if you fill the videos with the proper keywords, Google will show it to people who are interested in finding more information about it. Huge, huge, huge SEO value there that costs almost nothing.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of time, and you don't know what's going to get traction. But as you said, you have to put the stuff in the description. I know so many people that they put all sorts of stuff on YouTube. There's nothing in the description. YouTube is not being watched by Google. They're not watching the videos. they're reading the description. They're looking for keywords. That's all they can, eventually they'll analyze the transcripts and stuff like that. But right now they're not doing it.
Got it. No, that makes perfect sense. So, I always get a question when I talk to a dentist about getting the Google review from their patients on how to ask for it. Now, obviously, we send a text automatically out there. The conversation goes, we hope you had a great visit today. Just so you know, you may be getting a text message or communication asking for some feedback about your experience. And we look forward to reading what you have to say. That's kind of how I present it as a way for the team to ask. In this case, I'm sure you've come up with ways for somebody to ask for a video testimonial in this case. Can you review that with the listeners and the viewers?
The most effective way that we've found, the phrases that pay, the verbiage that works, is you say to the patient, how was your visit today? Or in the case of like a more complicated case, how are you feeling about your new implants or your new veneers, or your snoring device? And listen to the answer. And then say, it's so great to hear that. Would you be open to doing a quick video talking about that? It helps me find more patients like you, and I love treating people like you. So you've embedded a compliment, and you've said, would you be open to doing it? You didn't say, would you do it for me? Just asked if they were open to doing it. And then they say, yeah, I would probably do that. And you say, look, it's super easy. Just scan this QR code, talk for 30 seconds, and just say what you just said.
I think that works really well. So, I know there's other uses in the practice. One of them is in case presentations as well. So, can you talk to the listeners and the viewers about how this type of media could be used during case presentations? There's
two ways. And when you start to build your video library, you find these ones that are treatment specific, and you label them. You build a special folder for yourself for case presentation. You have a couple of 3, 4, 5 on implants, on Invisalign, on veneers, on snoring. And when you're presenting it to the patient, you say, here's what somebody who's a lot like you, how they feel about having done all on 4. And you just show them a video of that. Or alternatively, if they say, yeah, this all sounds great, but I got to run this by my husband, or I want to think about it. Then you put that video in an email to the patient, so it's there when they get home, so they can show it to their spouse, or it just reminds them that this is going to be a life-changing thing that they do, and they are with the right doctor. So again, that's free. But it's like this powerful reinforcement, not from the doctor saying, I'm great, I can do this, from somebody who's had it done by you, who says you're great, and I'm so glad I did it with you, and I should have done it sooner.
Okay, that makes sense. The other thing is the type of patients that you're attracting is really important as well. A marketing company that just delivers patients that don't spend money doesn't do any good to the practice. So, a lot of practice says they have 100 new patients doesn't mean a lot to me unless the patients are accepting treatment. Okay. So you need really qualified new patients that come in that are willing and able to spend the money. I think that's a very big difference between some of the marketings out there. So how do you feel these videos can improve the quality of the patients that you're attracting through marketing?
As you said, when you do advertising, and especially if you do discount advertising, you're attracting a discount patient. They've come to you to save money, not because they trust you, not because they like you, not their primary driver was to save money. And basically what you're getting is what we called it at 800 Dentists, was you're getting unfiltered patients, we would spend a lot of time at 800 Dentist on the phone, pre-screening the patient to make sure that they were a good match for the practice and could afford to go there. And so when you use these videos, you're attracting people like your best patients. You're attracting more of them. For example, if I know several practices that are dropping their insurance plans, and they're saying, I got to fill the gap with fee for service people. And I said, yes. So you need videos from your fee for service people that say, I would go to him no matter what. I'm going to use her. She doesn't take my insurance, but it only pays for a little bit, and I don't care. I just want to be treated by her. It makes all the difference to go to her. All of a sudden, you're attracting the fee for service patients. You're attracting people who say, yeah, my dental plan is crap. And I just want somebody who's going to take care of me. I don't care about saving $300 a year or getting 2 free cleanings or something like that. I want somebody who makes me healthy. And as we move in this direction where people are finally understanding the connection between their oral health and their overall health, not everybody, but they're starting. This is a wave that's coming. They're going to care a lot more about who that practitioner is than just, can I get a free cleaning? Can I save $500 off this or $1,000 off that? Or do they take my insurance? You want to use these videos to attract people like your people.
I think that's preaching to the choir. I've understood that, and I try to let everybody know about that as well. Let's talk about one last thing, which is, in my opinion, there's practices out there, and you mentioned it. Google reviews are really important. Video reviews are also important. Is there a way to ask for both of them? So what is your feeling about that? Obviously, you're relying on the patient to do a lot of the work here. Do you think there's a way to get a patient to kind of do both of them? And how would that conversation go?
There's a couple of ways I would approach it. I would look at the people who've done really good Google reviews for you already. And I said, I would say to them, you did this terrific review for us on Google, and we really appreciate it. Would you be open to doing a quick video testimonial, like 30 seconds, just saying something like that would really help us out, and we really appreciate it. That's one way to do it. I wouldn't contact every patient after every visit and ask them to do a video testimonial. I would be cherry picking who I believed would do a good video and would be willing to do a good video. And they may still not want to do it, but I think you have to ask almost every patient to be doing a Google review so that, 1 out of 10 of them is willing to do it. So you're constantly getting 20 or 30 a month, and probably more than that. You're not going to be as effective asking the patient to do either or, because, when people have 2 things to choose, they choose none.
God, no, 100%. So I agree with that. I agree with that.
I would separate who I was going to ask for a video to specific people. Typical person is somebody whose whole family comes to you, or they've been a patient for 15 years. That's who you're going to ask to do it. Although on the other end of the spectrum, I had one of my clients, I said, you don't want to ask patients on the first visit. And she said, well, I already did. And this young woman said, this is my first visit here, and they've exceeded all my expectations. And I went, okay, so I'm wrong. 10 seconds of pure gold right there. Cause that's what people want to know. It's like, wow, they exceeded your expectations on the first visit. That's impressive. It's a lot of it is that face to face, your sense, like I should ask them. And if they don't want to do it, it's fine. Just don't make a big deal out of it. Don't take it like rejection. There could be 1,000 reasons why they don't want to do a video. But you gotta be comfortable asking, and you gotta be bold enough to ask, I might add.
100% you do. So Fred, before we switch to the lightning round Q&A, is there anything else that you think you wanted to discuss when it comes to the video being breakthrough marketing?
I've been in this marketing business 30 years, helping people get patients. I have never seen anything more versatile and more persuasive than this authentic 30, 40 second video testimonial from a patient. And I also say, don't use the word testimonial. Just say quick video. Testimonial sounds a little heavy. It's like you're testifying. So just ask them to do a quick video and then make sure you capitalize on it, because there's so many free ways, but it is really the breakthrough we've been looking for in marketing for a long time. I wish I could have transitioned 800 dentists into this, but the gap was there where the technology wasn't there for me to pull it off.
Got it. All right. So let's switch gears here for a little bit. We're going to do a lightning round Q&A. For those that have not heard any of my episodes before, I use a app called Poddex. So if you're a podcaster, check it out. It's really cool. And I use a deck of cards called The Hustle, which are all business related questions. So, Fred, real quick, you don't have to go into long drawn out answers. There really is to get through 8 to 10 questions pretty quickly here. Who is one person you'd love to have as a mentor?
I would like Michael Dell, who created Dell Computers, obviously.
Dell Computers. Yep. All right. Do you have a hard time saying people no?
Oh yeah, I get the entrepreneur's disease. I think I can do that too. Whatever you present to me, yeah, I can fit that on the plate.
I have a hard time telling people no as well. So, how have you built a successful customer base over the years?
I am my authentic self to people, and it's all about relationships. There are people who are my clients now in this business that were my clients in 800 Dentists for 20 years. They know that I am trying to help them. Both my books are about helping them. They're not about me getting rich on books. It's like, how can I help you get better? And that's how I did it. I was always putting them first and trying to help decode their personal marketing issues and help them with them.
I think that's great. Do you have a system in place to keep yourself organized?
It's around here somewhere. I don't know where it is. No, I use two things. I'm very strict on my calendar, and I use Evernote to create a revolving to-do list, and also a place where anything I think of, I can put it somewhere that's relevant that I can access it.
Okay. And I think this qualifies. You just answered part of this. How do you capture and keep track of ideas? Do you keep a notebook? Do you do voice memos? What's the best way for you to do that?
By using Evernote, it syncs with every device that I use. So I can do voice, I can do writing, and it's on my phone, and it's going to show up on my laptop and on my desktop automatically. But the real key is, don't think you're going to remember. You're not. If you think of it before you go to sleep, you got to get up. You got to record it, because you're not even going to remember that there was something to remember.
100%.
So, yeah. I'm on my bike and I'll stop and I'll just, think of it as like, I won't remember it by the end of the bike ride.
That's right. This is a question that comes up a lot. What is one subscription, either personal or business, doesn't matter, that you can't live without?
I think it's Prime, actually.
Prime?
Amazon
Okay.
Prime. Yeah.
All right. Usually people answer Prime or Amazon or Netflix or something like that. So,
yeah.
Has anyone in your network been important to your journey?
Oh, there's several of them. Bernie Stoltz, who's the CEO of Fortune Management, he called me up out of the blue like 15 years ago and just said, I think we need to know each other. And it has just been the most rewarding relationship. I've learned so much from him. We've had so much fun together, and I really admire how his organization is run and who is running it, and the clients. I've become friends with hundreds of the clients that he has.
That's great. And let's see about this one. What business related book has inspired you the most? Or another way of saying it is, what is your favorite business book?
Actually, it's Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning, which is different than most business books. I think if you understand that, from a viewpoint of somebody who survived Auschwitz and basically said, it's not about finding the meaning of life. It's about having a meaningful life, and to really focus on that as in whatever you do. And I think it helps people from over focusing on capitalism and materialism, and caring a lot more about impact, because, we don't get to take any of this stuff with us. And we may think we're impressing people, but they're not that impressed with our cars.
Last question for me. How do you define success?
Success is when I am there for everyone in my life that needs something from me or wants something from me. I'm always able to drop what I'm doing and be there. And also when everybody in my business life is winning, I'm winning. My team members are winning. The customers that we're serving are winning. In that case, like the patients, and my doctors. Success is when everybody wins. To me, if like two good examples is if you can't afford to give health insurance to your employees, you don't have a successful business. And, and if your customer has to lose for you to win, you don't have a good business. So that's not a successful business in my mind. Even though maybe you made a pile of money, you're not a success in my mind.
Got it. Fred, that was awesome. Thank you. How can people get a hold of you? How can they learn about True Blue Social Smiles? Do you have an offer about it if people want to learn more about it? Give your contact information so people can reach out.
So you can reach me at fred@fredjoyal.com is probably the easiest thing to remember. And if you mention this podcast or you mention Bird Eye, we'll give you $200 off the sign up fee and, for True Blue Social Smiles. And the website for True Blue Social Smiles is that TRUBLU Social Smiles. But if you use the E's on the words, it goes there anyway, because I'm smart enough to buy the other domains.
That's good. That's good. And if they have any questions for you, they should just email you. Same thing at your email address is a perfect way to contact you. And I'm sure you're on all the social channels also. They can reach out to you.
Yeah, I'm Fred Joyal, everything. LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I'm not doing a lot on TikTok, but they're getting
Same with me, Dr. Lentau everywhere. So it's easy.
Yeah.
We have somewhat unique names, so it makes it fun. So, well, guys, this was great. Fred, thanks so much for joining me today. I hope the viewers and the audience and the listeners loved it. I did. I loved speaking with you again. If you liked the episode, please share it. Please recommend your colleagues listen to it. Please recommend True Blue Social Smiles if you think it's something that one of your friends may want to try and check out. And as I always end my podcasts, remember, your reputation matters. Until the next episode, we'll talk to everyone soon. Thank you, Fred, for joining me today. Have a great day, guys.